Well, good afternoon from White Hart Lane, where, to be frank, it hasn't been a particularly good afternoon so far. As you've probably heard already, there was a security alert here at around about 12:45 this afternoon, since when the ground has been screened. The match has been given permission to go ahead, and the latest is, we believe, that it will kick off at 4:30. Of course, it's Spurs against Nottingham Forest for a place in the final of the Rumbelows League Cup. Now, the ground is beginning to fill up, slowly but surely. I must commend all the fans who were here this afternoon very early on for their patience and their behaviour in appalling conditions outside, absolutely no shelter whatsoever, cold, wet, but they were singing, they were in good humour, and that's nice to hear on a weekend where, in one or two parts of the country, football supporters certainly did not distinguish themselves. Right, well, very good spirits, aren't they? And just to see that, Alex, it's Alex Ferguson, of course, the manager of Manchester United, is with us this afternoon, along with Lenny Lawrence of Middlesbrough, who hasn't arrived yet. Yeah, we've got a seat for him if he does arrive. Forest has just arrived. Now, this is not the way to prepare for a semi-final, 90 minutes from Wembley.
Certainly not. So just arrived, as you say, and it's only 40 minutes from kick-off, and I'm sure it's the last thing Brian Clough wanted. He's probably in an afternoon nap just now anyway, Brian.
But it's a bad way for
yeah.
but well, it's same for both sides.
Yeah, but Tottenham have been here early in their own home ground, and they probably have somewhere to relax. And maybe Brian's done the right thing, left it late, arrived, get ready and get out and play. Who knows?
A word about the behaviour of the fans. I know you got a little bit of stick as you tried to walk to the ground.
Great, but call me saboteur. Captain saboteur. Yeah, they were great, and standing out in the rain, it wasn't very nice at all, but they were patient, and they were good enough.
Well, they really did have a problem this afternoon, the fans. They behaved perfectly, and it's a real security dilemma for the police and for everyone connected with Tottenham Hotspur Football Club at White Hart Lane this afternoon. Their Chief Executive, Terry Venables, is with Gary Newbon.
Yes, Terry, it's been a headache for everyone. You've been here since early this morning, so tell us what it's been like from your point of view.
Well, it's been a big problem from everyone in and around the ground. It's a great concern because there was a bomb at the tube station this morning, and then followed up with one supposed to be here at the ground. So everyone had to leave the ground to err on the side of safety, and the police acted very quickly and did it very well. It's put everyone behind, not good preparation for both sides, but the most important thing, of course, is the safety of everyone that's coming to the game.
Are football clubs geared up for this sort of thing?
Well, I think it's something that you've not been ready for. We've never known it really to happen in sport, but it's been a major problem today. But I must say, everyone dealt with it tremendously well, and the police particularly pleased with the way the fans behaved themselves out on the street in the rain. Not an easy situation, but commendable.
Both teams, of course, were stuck just a few yards away.
Yeah, obviously that they couldn't come in either, so both sets of teams were sat in the coach down the road waiting to get in. Yeah.
I must say, having watched both sides with you, that everyone looks very relaxed.
Well, they still got their eyes firmly fixed on the game, which is all important for them. They're trying to put the other things in the background, and they're concentrating, on the game, and quite rightly so. And I think they're all up for it.
Any news of the kick-off time?
As yet, we believe it's 4:30.
Thank you. Thank you, Terry.
Thanks.
Well, it has been a very traumatic day in the Tottenham area of London. 2 bombs at a nearby station. One was defused, one was a controlled detonation. But throughout it all, people have come through in pretty good spirits. Let's talk about the football now, Alex. We've had a lot of rain, which the fans have had to endure. But when we were here for Spurs against Liverpool a few weeks ago, that made the surface absolutely superb for 2 crisp passing sides.
Yeah, it was a passing pitch that day, but today it's looking a bit heavy now. It's a bit of wear and tear in the middle of the park, and it maybe makes it an interesting cup tie. Sometimes in these conditions it makes even a better game, you know.
Well, we're all looking forward to it. As I say, the latest is that it will kick off at 4:30. But in the meantime, for skiing enthusiasts, for the next 25 minutes or so, ski the outer limits.
Leeds unbeaten at home in the league, Luton without an away win for the best part of 12 months. After an hour, Gary McAllister's powerful burst led to the opening from which Eric Cantona opened his account in English football. Well, Howard Wilkinson said on the match a few weeks ago that the championship race will go right to the tape. He also said last week the quicker he could get Lee Chapman out of the commentary box and onto the pitch, the better it would be. For Leeds, that is. How right he was. Goal of the day contender A. A peach of a volley by Chapman. Aston Villa's defending appeared to be of the mild-mannered nature, this after only 3 minutes. Steve McMahon doing his bit. Niall Quinn with his 11th goal of the season, contender B. Now, by all accounts, Villa were very unlucky not to register their second league goal of the year, but that's another story. McMahon in a bit of space, you might say, spotting David White on a run, the only one who did. City have now won their last 6 at home, and White has scored in all of them. Contest C. Mind you, if you thought Villa's defending was a bit lax on occasions, you ain't seen nothing yet. Chelsea, who've shown so much discipline in recent weeks, put on a first-half horror show. Transfer listed Paul Williams to Danny Wilson. Williams' performance might well have made Trevor Francis regret granting his transfer request. All right, Chelsea left some gaping holes, but that's where good players go to exploit them. Williams on the chase with Elliott leaving Cundy to try and keep him in check. Bart Williams shooting, crossing, draw your own conclusions. Nigel Worthington in on the blind side with Richard Hall ball watching. It was a different story when Wednesday were last in London. That 7-1 defeat at Highbury. 7 blue shirts in the frame there, 2 yellow ones. Williams doing the inevitable. Chelsea's first defeat of the year and worst 45 minutes of the season. No goals at Anfield, but Southampton showed a lot of spirit. A bit too much, according to Graham Souness. Liverpool had the best of the chances. Burrows got hold of that one, and so did Flowers. Southampton's manager Ian Bramford, anxious to get his side performing in the league as they have been in the Cup, will no doubt have been delighted with a point. Tim Flowers was outstanding, but they really don't look a bottom-of-the-table outfit. Judge for yourselves on the match in 2 weeks' time at Manchester City. Steve Coppell, the Palace manager, apologised for the quality of defending. We apologise for the quality of the pictures. Pity, really, because it was the highest scoring game of the day. Chris Sutton putting Norwich in front after quarter of an hour. 2 minutes later, Palace equalised when a crisp passing movement found David White in space on the right. He reacted quickly with one round the back of the Norwich defence for Simon Osborne. It was 3-3 when these two met at Carrow Road earlier in the season. Once again, no shortage of excitement with Palace's play-it-to policy getting Mark Bright into a scoring position. Norwich hadn't won away since November, and they were soon on level terms. The Palace defence caught in 2 minds by the looks of it, and whilst they were contemplating an offside appeal, Norwich got round the back, and the only positive response came from Rob Newman. 2 goals followed in the last 2 minutes of the first half. The former Spurs man John Polston with a soft touch from a corner. Defending set plays, normally one of Palace's great strengths. And then on the stroke of half-time, Palace completely caught out. Fox crossed for Sutton, whose shot was blocked by Martin, only for the ball to break conveniently for Jeremy Goss, unopposed, to put Norwich 4-2 up. Now, normal service resumed in time to see the only goal of the second half, Mark Bright, but Norwich held out. Palace with only 1 win in their last 7 games at Selhurst Park. Goal of the day, contender D, not the sort of goal Wimbledon used to be known for. Lovely combination for their first away win since August. Alan Cork to Paul McGee, and it's 5 without defeat under their new manager, Joe Kinnear. The crowd demonstration followed a week of frustration for West Ham. 3 defeats in a row. Beardsley and Ward creating a simple goal for Maurice Johnston. Everton have been finding goals hard to come by. Victories have been short supply too. Gary Ablett was bypassed for the anticipated near-post corner, but he held his ground and was in the right position when the ball broke loose. 2-0 Everton.
Well, there's the Saints shortlist. Goal A, Lee Chapman, one of 2 goals for Leeds United. B, Niall Quinn. C, David White. And D, Paul McGee. And the number's the usual one, 0898 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. We will be back very shortly with live football, White Hart Lane. Join us again.
Well, welcome to White Hart Lane. We're just about ready to start this Rumbelows Cup semi-final Second leg, Nottingham Forest in the all-red strip, attacking straight away the goal to our left, and essentially needing to get in fairly quickly to get that ball back to goalkeeper Eric Torstvedt. So Wembley awaits, but not before we get an afternoon of highly charged and intelligent football. And of course now with the cutting edge of a big cup tie to add to it. Mark Crossley will give you the team captions when we can. If you can well imagine, with the security alert that we've had inside the ground, a lot of the timings this afternoon have gone slightly haywire. But we're here for the start, with the prospect of an excellent match now. As Lineker's on the taste, and Walker gets there just in the nick of time. That'll be such a crucial battle. Des Walker here against Gary Lineker, number 10. Could be more. There's the Tottenham lineup. It's the side that started against Arsenal last weekend when Spurs say it was their best performance of the season. Both Gordon Jury, back pass there, almost put Torstvedt in trouble from Terry Fenwick. Jury and Paul Allen both coming through fitness test this morning, and here is Gordon Jury. He hasn't scored since early December, but full of running there and needed an intervention from Darren Wassell. But in fact there's an infringement before it and a free kick to Nottingham Forest. And the Nottingham Forest side, Lee Glover takes the number 11 shirt in place of Kingsley Black, and it means that Nigel Clough will drop into the midfield just behind those front two, Sheringham and Glover. Goal kick to Nottingham Forest. The pitch here at White Hart Lane adds a certain uncertainty to the play, but although it's not the best pitch in the league by a long way, the fact that it's been raining hard since lunchtime today will certainly have calmed it down a lot and make it much more conducive to a good game of football between two excellent passing sides. Wassell getting it forward. Here's Jury again. Such an important week for Tottenham, not only this one below semi-final, but they're in Europe in Feyenoord on Wednesday in the quarter-final of the Cup Winners' Cup. Free kick to Spurs. Nigel Clough will be taking up a midfield position. The guile of Clough and his promptings and his probings are always going to be a danger to Tottenham this afternoon. But in the meantime, it's a free kick for Spurs, which Terry Fenwick will take. Hit very deep indeed towards Mamadou up there. Crossley half-slipped coming out, but made a good safe catch in the end. Ian St John.
Well, nice bright start to the game, Brian, after all that went on before in the last hour or two. And I'm looking forward to a really exciting game this afternoon. The pitch, as you say, it doesn't look the greatest, but I think the surface is fine. The boys will enjoy playing on it.
Well, here's a good break. It's Scott Gemmell now for Nottingham Forest, but he hit it straight at Torstvedt. But a very good break from deep, and Forest a dab hands it, of course.
That is one of the strengths, Brian, as you say. The midfield players getting forward. Gemmell there, but Keane was also in there. If the ball had come off the goalkeeper, Keane was in.
Good jump by Walker. Keane in quickly, looked to be out of play. It is now a throw to Tottenham. Forest, in fact, with a great record here. They've not lost on their last 7 visits, 5 of which have ended in victory for them. Pierce, although the Spurs manager, Peter Shreve, says, but they've never been here for a cup semi-final before. And Brian Clough agreeing it's a different day today. Brandon Howe, up to Jury, wide to Allen, forward to Lineker, lurking on this right touchline. Threads the ball through to Stewart, gets it back again to Paul Allen. Great Tottenham move there, excellent play by Paul Stewart, and really dogged running again by Paul Allen on the right side of midfield. He's having a terrific season for Tottenham.
Well, that was a lovely move. Gary Lineker started it all in the first place to Stewart, and Willie Allen maybe should have got it across the goalkeeper there, but a lovely entertaining move from Spurs.
Crossley with the kick. Sheringham's header. Howes just in front of the back four for Tottenham. He has a key role. A nice dummy there by Lineker. And that role of Howes allows Stewart to maybe come forward a little more. Stewart, though, I imagine, will be looking very closely at the dangerous midfield play of Forrest's Roy Keane. Well, here's Nigel Clough. He's another one that needs to be watched very closely indeed. Good running here by Clough. Naeem takes him down very badly. That was a bad challenge there by Naeem.
Well, that was a naughty one, wasn't it?
Well, it was a naughty one that I'm surprised that Joe Worrell doesn't want another word with Naeem. Well, he's having that word with him now, but nothing more than that, because it was a good, strong run by Clough, who was getting into a very dangerous position. Mind you, the danger isn't over for Tottenham yet, with the scoring ability of Stuart Pearce with those dynamic free kicks from this sort of distance. Sheringham's also there, but it's odds on a blockbuster from Stuart Pearce. Spurs wall is lined up in some trepidation, I suppose. There's Pearce, hits it straight at the wall. It wasn't one of his better ones. Laws trying to get it wide towards Crossley. Crosby couldn't get to it. Brandon Howe was there first. Walker there first for Nottingham Forest. A blistering pace in the opening minutes of this Rumbelows semi-final second leg.
Well, pace is certainly something that Forest have at the back there, but Wassell as well. As you know, Brian, he's one of the contenders in the Rumbelows Sprint Challenge. So they've got two very, very pacey men at the back.
I think Wassell got the nod in the first leg, Ian, over Carl Tyler, just because he has that little bit of extra pace on the ground against the likes of Lineker and Dury.
Exactly.
And here's another man with pace, Roy Keane, the young Irishman. Stewart trying to get back to him. Crosby dancing down that right touchline. Glover. Oh, challenged and beaten by Howes. Up to Dury. Now for Allen. Good pace about this game. Lineker couldn't quite keep it in play. Gemmell. Oh, I'm picking him up. And they get a corner. It came, and it just about winded poor Stewart there, whacked him in the breadbasket, and Scott Gemmell's shot was really moving, and Joe Worrell calling Dave Butler on for some quick attention for Paul Stewart.
Well, the early indication is, Brian, that Forest from midfield are able to carry the ball, as we've seen there, Gemmell and Keane as well, and Nigel Clough, carrying the ball from the halfway line and taking it at the back four of Tottenham. I think Howells is supposedly earmarked to mark Clough, but every time that they have the ball, Spurs have the ball, he's leaving Clough and trying to play, and then of course when little Clough gets it, he's got all the room in the world. I think if you go to mark him, you have to stay with him, and that is your job today.
Well, Tottenham's job at the moment is to defend from this corner, which they do. It wasn't a very well served corner there by Gary Crosby. Here's Walker. Getting it to Crosby. Almost getting it through to Sheringham. Allen. Lineker. 24 goals this season. Pearce. Walker. Keane. Wassell. Stewart's. Kick-off delayed then just over an hour because of a security alert, but it says a lot for the enduring quality of our great old national game that people were waiting patiently. The police cordoned off the streets around the ground here. People waited patiently in the rain, and there's a good crowd inside White Hart Lane now for this semi-final. It wasn't very easy for the players either. Both the Spurs and the Forest players left their hotel at about 2 o'clock. And so they were imprisoned in their coaches in a side street near the ground for just over an hour. Hardly the best preparations for a semi-final.
Well, I was imprisoned in my car for 2 hours, Brian, 100 yards from the ground.
It's not been easy for anybody. Lineker. Cut out by Crosby. This is where they're so dangerous. On this sort of breakaway, Spurs are getting people back quickly enough. Sheringham. For Gemmell. Back again for Gemmell. Might come again for him. It's a goal there. Beautifully shot there by Lee Glover. Well, Spurs were a long time on the edge of their penalty area looking to get that one away. Gemmell was allowed to make some progress, and it was a terrific shot.
But again, it was the midfield players coming forward, Brian. That was a lovely little 1-2 that Gemmell played. Unlucky he didn't get the shot in himself, but Glover tucked it away. But the warning signs were there for Tottenham, and they're allowing the Forest midfield boys to get at them.
Well, they have this amazing record here at White Hart Lane. As I was saying earlier, they've not lost on their last 7 minutes, and they've struck the first blow here in this Rumbelow semi-final second leg. 10 minutes gone, Lee Glover the scorer. Both his goals, as you can see, in the Forest run towards Wembley in the Rumbelows Cup. Russell.
I mean, Terry Fenwick just stood in young Clough there, standing all over him like a rugby ruck there. That's terrible.
Well, he's an even-minded young man, Nigel Clough. He knows probably the best way to punish the opposition is by spraying out the passes and not losing his temper. Added, of course, to Forest's great record here, you have to say that Spurs have a bad record here at home this season. They've already lost 9 at home, including already to Nottingham Forest on Boxing Day. Here's Brian Laws. Hustled off the ball there by Naeem.
Appeared to me to be a push by Naeem there, and Joe Worrall allowed it to pass.
Tell you what Joe Worrall's also doing, he's deep in conversation with Terry Fenwick over that incident that you pointed out a moment ago, Ian.
Quite rightly.
Gemmell. Oh, here comes Pearce. There's the crossing again. It might come for Crosby. No penalty given.
The linesman's flag was up in any case.
Was up on the other side. But again, a moment of high danger for Tottenham.
Pearce is so dangerous, isn't he, marauding down that left side. He whipped in a beautiful ball, and everybody missed it, and then there's young Crosby coming in on the blind side.
Dury versus Walker. Spurs who took the lead up at the City Ground with a penalty. Teddy Sheringham equalising Lineker's penalty. Here's Gordon Dury looking for a bit of purchase on a wet ball and gets a good long throw in there. Allen coming in. Dury trying to finish it off, but Pearce got it away to Clough. It's with David Howes. Scott Gemmell. Clough. Glover. Into Clough again. He tried to thread it through that time to Keane, and it comes to Lee Glover once more. Good bit of play by Glover. He twisted and turned there against Fenwick. Earned himself a yard of space. And rifled in a shot that Torsved had to save. A bit of play here, Ian.
Nice bit of skill again. You get at this, you feel at this stage that the ball's running for Forest. You know, they're getting all the little breaks at the moment. Ball's running kindly for them.
Well, here's Lineker. Trying to pick up Vanden Hauwe. But Walker was in. Quarter of an hour gone. Sedgley. Walker again. Man of the match in the first leg. Vanden Howell. Dury. Cross comes in towards Lineker. 1-1. Great Tottenham relief. The ace goal poacher does it again. Sheer class. The long cross. The fine header. Guided to perfection beyond Crossley. Gary Lineker's 25th goal of the season and a vital one for Tottenham.
I think there'll be a question mark over the two centre-backs of Nottingham Forest here. Neither picked him up at all. It was Stuart Pearce who was the last man there. He got in front of him, and it was a beautiful header.
Sedgley. So we really are set up for a cup tie now. Dury brought down by Clough. In fact, there was an infringement before that, giving Forest the free kick, which Clough will take. Over it, Gemmell alongside him, and not the best of free kicks. You get the feeling, Ian, that Spurs badly needed that quick equaliser. They've got this terrible record here at White Hart Lane, 25th goal of the season, 5th in this competition.
It was very important for them to get a goal back so quickly.
Exactly, that would have been eating away at their confidence. Sure. Their bad home record continuing. Again, Mabbott half getting it away, poked back that time by David Howells. Vanden Howell with a throw. Lineker. Forest throw. Spurs, in fact, have been finding goals very hard to get before today. Only 5, can you believe it, in their last 10 games. But here's Glover. Forest on the counter-attack again. Stopped that time by the tackling of David Howells. Glover. Again Howells in quickly. Lineker. Allen. Play by Dury. And a good challenge by Gemmell. Pearce. Danger signs there when he starts making a move towards the penalty area. Keane with a powerful shot, but well wide of Forsford's goal. He scored from the spot in the first leg with that cheeky penalty. Got up so well for this header in the second leg.
I don't really know why the centre-halves didn't pick him up there at all, Brian. You know, he is the ace poacher. If the ball's coming into the penalty area, somebody's got to pick him up.
Stewart up well. Free kick to Forest. They want to take it quickly. Stewart denies them. Walker. Pearce. Good play here. Nice passing by Forest, but a good challenge again by Howells. He's doing a terrific job for Tottenham just in front of that back four, getting some really valuable tackles. And a good ball now by Dury, sending Lineker on his way. But they can't prevent it going for the corner. It came off Brian Laws. Coming up to the 20-minute mark. 1-1 the score here in this delayed Rumbelows semi-final, second leg. after 1-1 in the first leg. Mabbutt up. Naeem with the kick. Good, positive fisting away that time by Crossley. Naeem again. Gets it in once more towards Lineker, but Walker won that in the air. Knocked in once more. Both Stewart and Lineker almost reaching Fenwick's cross.
Well, the point was made in the first leg, Brian, that we always felt that Forrest might be a little bit vulnerable in the air, and I think today it's showing again. You know, balls that are coming in here. Walker gets this one away, but there's always a feeling there that something might happen, and that was almost a perfect ball back in there for Stewart.
Howells. Fenwick. Lineker. Fenwick again. Allen. Long cross in. Stewart's in there. A shot on the turn. Brilliantly saved. Naeem almost got in there. A wonderful save by Crossley from Stewart's goal-bound shot.
Well, again, but it was the ball played into the box, a high ball in the box, and they had all the time in the world, Stewart, there, and very unfortunate not to score, but that was a tremendous chance. You know, Forrest really are chancing that arm at the moment.
Corner coming in.
And there's another header.
Get the feeling distinctly, Ian, that we haven't seen the last of the goal scoring today.
I would say, yeah, looking at this match at the moment, Brian, you have to think there'll be a lot of goals coming in. There's the ball played in there. He didn't even have to head it, brought it down, and the keeper actually made a very good save. And again there.
Fenwick. Easy for Crossley this time. He's had his critics, the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper, this season. There's been a mild bit of criticism once or twice, even from his manager Brian Clough, but that was a super piece of goalkeeping by a 22-year-old Yorkshireman. Abbott's header, very strong and positive. Dury. Crosby taking it up. Glover, nice play. Crosby again. Can he get his shot in? Back to Nigel Clough. Played in again. A flick header there by Sheringham. Into the other. There's been flagged. Getting a free kick for offside against Spurs. And Wassell will take it. The rain still driving down here. Stewart away to Lineker. Allen into Dury. They play a handball there, Tottenham. Not intentional, says referee Joe Worrell. Get on with the game. Sedgley, long ball forward. Walker getting it away. Sedgley, Mabbutt. Eventually they get it forward to the relief of Spurs fans. Rough. Sedgley again. Keane getting the better of Vanden Howe. Okay. 1-1 then, with 25 minutes gone. It has been a busy month for Forest. 8 games in the last 4 weeks, but they certainly look bright and fresh here this afternoon. Motivation at a high level up at the City Ground, no doubt. Spurs have played just 4 games in the last month. Of course, as I say, they've got this very important week coming up. It's a Tottenham ball.
That was not quite what Stuart Pearson intended there, was it?
That was more like the real Stuart Pearce, the header. Cushioned there by Clough. On to Gemmell. Forward to Sheringham. Bringing in Crosby. And over on the right, as full of running as ever, is Roy Keane. But his cross goes behind Torsvett's crossbar.
It was a poor cross, Brian, but a terrific run by the young Irishman. You know, as soon as they picked the ball up in the halfway line, he made the break. He really gets forward well.
Crucial moment to Forest's great relief. Clough getting the ball forward now to Glover. Crosby. Chasing back being done there by Dury. But in fact, there was an infringement there as well on a free kick to Forest.
Dury had done all the hard work, made a magnificent run to get back, and Van den Houwen only gives away a foul. So all that hard work goes for nothing.
Ryan Clough, and on the left, Archie Gemmell, whose son is wearing the number 8 shirt for Forest, and on the ball at the moment. Allen. Up to Lineker. England teammates, but no love lost there at that particular moment. Gemmell to Clough. Tried to swing it right, looked like a handball there by Naeem. That's what Forrest thought. Dury. Lineker again lurking on this right touchline. Cut out by Darren Wassell. The score, 2-2 on aggregate. Terry Fenwick with the throw for Tottenham Hotspur. Van den Houwen. Walker. That's a good challenge that by Sedgley. Forest looked as though they were on the verge of something quite dangerous there. Russell gets it away for Forest. Van den Houwen. Naeem. Crosby gets it away again for just out of play. Just joined us, the score 1-1, 2-2 on aggregate in a Rumbelow semi-final second leg, delayed by just over an hour because of a security alert here at White Hart Lane. And now with a throw. Towards Paul Stewart. Glover gets back, hooks it away. Sedgley. Van den Houwen did well there. And a bit of shoving there by Stewart. Wrong footing Darren Wassell. Dury, long-range shot, half an hour gone.
Well, that was worth a try, wasn't it? The old element of surprise there.
Interesting position that Gordon Durie is taking up. He's dropped back a little bit to the old-fashioned inside forward position, let's say.
That's right, he's withdrawn a bit from Lineker. And doing well and finding a bit of space today.
Leaving just one man up front, Gary Lineker. And he's already made his mark today with the header to equalise the goal for Nottingham Forest by Lee Glover. Pinnock with the free kick. Walker, Keane. Middlesbrough and Manchester United, of course, the two sides contesting the other semi-final. Here's Durie again. Oh, nicely into the path of Paul Allen. Oh, right across that 6-yard area, eluding Stewart and Lineker. Naeem keeps it in, but Crosby closed quickly. An excellent ball played in there by Paul Allen, which really just needed a touch.
Well, I went through Paul Stewart's legs, I think. He just couldn't get his feet sorted out, and right through his legs.
Brandon Howe with the throw. And now with the cross. Naeem.
Let's have a look at it again, Brian, and see exactly what happened there. Durie involved in it, sliding it into Allen, and this was a lovely ball. I mean, hard, firm, low, across, and there you are, right. It just got to tickle him right through his legs.
Looking at it again, I just wonder whether he might have fancied a little shot himself, because it looked as though Crossley was a little away off his near post. Here's Durie. Back heel, Allen couldn't quite pick it up. Stopped there, killed beautifully by Glover. Finds his captain, Stuart Pearce, to Nigel Clough. Forward to Glover again. Sheringham away on the left. A little bit of battling going on there with Paul Allen involved. Pearce again, picking up Clough once more. Bit of space there for him, but Howells quickly closed that down. Laws. Lost out Crawley there. Offside against Lee Glover.
What I do like about Nottingham Forest, Brian, they play some great balls from defence to attack on the floor. You know, they very rarely just kick it up in the air and say, well, fight for that. They play it into the forward's feet, and then they can build up from that. It's lovely stuff to watch.
Stewart underneath this one. It's a really dirty afternoon still here. Forest already made sure of one Wembley place this season in the Zenith data, having beaten Leicester City last Wednesday evening. Here's Lineker. Allen. Back to Pinnock. Starting that crossing again towards Stewart. Might fall for Durie now.
Durie couldn't really get much on that one there, but Paul Stewart is causing all the problems, Brian, because he's getting in the box more, I think, this game than I've seen for a while, and he's causing the problems.
Maverts. Pinnock. A long ball forward. There's Stewart leading the charge again.
That's what I mean, Brian. He is today. I think he must have been told, now you get forward whenever you can. Durie's dropping back and he's shooting forward.
I think the key to that also, Saint, is David Howell's position as well, where he's just in front of the back four, which is the position that Paul Stewart's been keeping.
Well, as I say, I think Howell's job is to mark Nigel Clough whenever they can and try to keep Nigel quiet.
But that's allowed Stewart, I think, just to go that little bit more forward. It's Allen now for Tottenham Hotspur. To Gary Lineker. That's a fair ball there. Well, it looked as though it was going to be, but Van der Haar was beaten by the pace of it off this very wet turf.
Actually, the ground is wonderful for playing this kind of football, Brian. The ball's zipping around there, and I think both sets of players will be enjoying it.
Yes, the rain really has come to the rescue of this pitch, isn't it? Here's Fenwick. It's good that the crowd that have come in are seeing a good, exciting game after the frustrations that they had earlier on in the rain. They had to wait outside, some for 3 or 4 hours before they were allowed in. Back, the long ball. Laws underneath it. Fenwick again for Tottenham. Well, they're all in pretty good humour now. Here's Sheringham. Well, can he open up the way? Keane couldn't quite take command of that situation. Naeem getting the ball and finding Paul Allen with it. Jury's off on a good diagonal run, but look at Walker going with him with all the pace in the world. But Jury turning well. Can he finish it off? Walker was with him. Two of the paciest players, I would think, Saint, in the first division there, Jury and Walker.
Yeah, it's a good battle between those two.
Here's Jury with the throw. The corner came off Stuart Pearce. Long one again. Mabbott's up for it on the far side. Goal kick.
I was just thinking there, Brian, that maybe Jury and Walker will be playing against each other in Europe in the summer in Sweden. If your team manages to get out of your group.
Well, if yours does as well. Glover turned his man, he turned Mabbutt superbly. It almost came for him again. In fact, Van der Haar coming in very nearly confused the whole issue. Just for a moment, Glover looked to have got the measure of Mabbutt. Just for a moment, Spurs looked to be in serious danger. Keane caught a little bit off balance there, but Walker again covering up well for him. Chip there, and it was cunning and it didn't quite come off. Laws up well. Keane getting it away towards Crosby. Laws then felled by Naeem. Crosby. Sheringham.
Since Tottenham scored that equaliser, Brian, they've just had the edge, haven't they? They've just had slightly more of the game now than Forest.
But here Forest, cut out that time by Howes. Battleship named Pearce, surging forward again. Oh, but there's space now that Lineker might exploit, although Walker was across quickly. Howes. Stewart. Here's Van der Haar. Naeem playing it forward towards Howes again. So just 5 minutes of the first half remaining. It's the situation here? Aggregates of 2-2 in this Rumbelows semi-final, second leg. If it stays level at the end of 90 minutes, we get extra time, and if it's still level then, we get a third game. Not penalties on this occasion, penalties after the third game. Crosby now for Forest. Ball came off Van den Houw for a Forest corner. Forest in fact have won the competition 4 times, 78, 79, 89 and 90. Spurs have won it twice, 1971 and 1973. Crosby with the corner. Gemmell. Abbott with a header away. Wassell. Abbott almost got it forward again. Finally the whistle goes. There's been a foul by Nigel Clough there on Paul Stewart. A free kick to Spurs. It's a bit of a mud bath down in those central areas now.
But you must remember this pitch in the 60s, Brian. On a day like today, you'd be up over your ankles in mud.
Absolutely. And then it had a spell where, for 5 or 6 seasons, it was absolutely first class, yes, whatever the weather. And now it seems to have gone again. Yes, I remember a semi-final of the FA Cup being played here, Chelsea and Watford, I think in 71. You just couldn't see a blade of grass anywhere, and they were absolutely ankle deep in mud.
When you think of Tottenham in those days, you visualise Dave Mackay with his white shirt covered in mud, don't you?
Actually, also when you think of Tottenham in those days, say no, you thought of them never getting beaten here, and it's astonishing to find they've been beaten 9 times here at White Hart Lane this season. I just can't fathom that out.
That is a poor home record, isn't it?
Little touch by Lineker, but what a good one into the path of Jury. Van den Houw thought twice about knocking it back to Torstvedt. Decided quite wisely against it. 2 minutes of the first half left. Gemmell. Laws with the kick. Glover trying to get the header in. Howes gets it away. Allen now for Tottenham. Up to Lineker. Free kick to Forest. Must be a foul by Gordon Durie there. Very interesting when Lineker comes deep. Durie takes the cue to get forward as he did then. Walker with the kick. I think Lineker's had some 7 meetings in Forest Spurs games with Walker, and not until this afternoon has he actually beaten him in open play. Lineker again. The little touch almost releases Durie, but it comes through to Naeem, and now Durie. That's a foul by Laws. Laws being spoken to by Joe Worrell. Spurs now line up this free kick. Naeem will take it. Abbott's up there from the defensive areas towards Paul Stewart. It's slid really off the top of his head.
But the danger's always there, Brian, from crosses. Again, you have to question the marking here. Watch Stewart there. Getting in between defenders. Stuart Pearce really not in a position to do much about that. but he has certainly been a danger man for any crosses coming in today.
Playing time added on at the end of the first half. Clark putting it wide. And I suppose really in a summing up of the first half, Spurs maybe have had slightly the better of it, Ian.
Yes, but it's been a very exciting game, Brian, a good game. A lot of quality football being played and tremendous commitment by both sides.
Naeem, Bofenic. Ball hit long again. Stewart the first to show. And it almost came for Howells, but the whistle had gone in any case. There was an infringement. Saying you would certainly expect more goals here, and you wouldn't put it beyond going to a third game as well, because the sides are so beautifully balanced here in this Rumbelow semi-final second leg. Lee Glover having put Nottingham Forest ahead after 10 minutes, and 5 minutes later the header of Gary Lineker making it 1-1, tying everything up on an aggregate of 2-2. That's the situation then here at White Hart Lane.
Welcome back. We're a little bit late on the match this afternoon because of the security alert at White Hart Lane a little earlier on in the day. And it's a belated welcome to Lenny Lawrence, the manager of Middlesbrough. Of course, Alex and Lenny, their teams, Middlesbrough and Manchester United, are the other two semi-finals in this season's Rumbelows League Cup, which still boasts the blue and white ribbons of Sheffield Wednesday, the holders. Sorry about that, Alex. Lenny, first word from you. Your assessment of the first half.
I think Forest started very brightly and caused Tottenham's problems, a few problems at the back, running at them, and they got the first goal. But after Tottenham's equaliser, I think they made the best of it, really. And I suppose a draw is about a fair result at the present time.
You predicted goals at the start. We only had to wait 11 minutes, and it was Forest who took the lead. Alex,
Yeah.
which isn't an unusual situation for them at White Hart Lane.
No, they've been attacking from midfield, as when it says, and young Gimbel's got them all round about him, and Glover's followed up well for a great strike, in off the post, and a deserved goal at that point in time.
I think you had a sneaker for Tottenham before the match, Lenny, didn't you? Let's have another look at this one. Gemmell involved.
Yeah, it was a great little give and go there, typical of Forest. And he's got all the players around about him, as Alex says, and he's followed up well and tucked nicely into the bottom corner of the net. And you could see it coming 2 or 3 times before that. There have been incidents where Forest had got runs at Tottenham's back four. And as I say, you could see that one coming, really.
Ian repeatedly made the point that Forest looked a bit susceptible in the air at the back, and sort of Gary Lineker cashed in on that.
Well, Gary Lineker's pulled one out of the hat, really, although that two Nottingham Forest defenders, you know, he sees Stuart Pearce has got himself in a position where he doesn't, whether it come in against Gary or the wind coming round the back. And of course, Gary's got a tremendous header down and away from the goalkeeper. And just at the right time for Tottenham, really.
How significant, Lenny, that the ball doesn't bounce?
Yeah, it sort of dies in the surface, doesn't it? I mean,
Like a daisy cutter.
Wassell's been marking Lineker, and Lineker's pulled off him there and got between him and Pearce, and he's left Pearce 2 against 1. Stuart doesn't know whether to come in and mark Gary Lineker or take the one on the outside, and he's got caught between 2 stools.
Let's have a quick look at that other incident when Crossley made a save from Stewart. Once again,
same thing.
aerial problems.
Yeah, seemed to have a problem in the back, at the back, defending in the air. And he's got in there unmarked again, Stewart. He got turned, and great save from the keeper.
Great save. It's interesting, the tactics of Tottenham, of course, that Paul Stewart's playing in the inside left, the old inside left channel, and Jury's playing the old inside right channel. They're both bombing through and done very well, created problems for Nottingham Forest defenders.
OK, certainly, I think Lenny was saying earlier on that Jury, almost the key figure in the first half. Right, but of course, we've already seen our Goal of the Day competition, but of course, we've got to find out who won last week. In fact, it's a player who's out there this afternoon in all the mud and the rain at White Hart Lane, and that's Teddy Sheringham, who's in fact not the leading scorer in the Rumbelows League Cup. We thought it was until the trivia when it was discovered to be John Aldridge with 8 goals. I think Teddy Sheringham's got 6. Anyway, let's see who actually won, and the quality of the goal that sealed it for Teddy Sheringham. A bullet shot into the top corner past Kevin Hitchcock of Chelsea. And here's the winner, Gail Noble, South Normanton of Derbyshire, who wants to take her mum to Wembley to see this season's European Cup final. Right, still 45 minutes to come here, possibly even more if it goes to extra time. Join us again at White Hart Lane. And welcome back. 1-1 here at White Hart Lane. 2-2 the aggregate score between Spurs and Nottingham Forest. Well, Spurs, of course, have got a new signing, Andy Gray. He's ineligible for this competition and for Europe, but he's not ineligible to talk to Gary Newborn.
He's certainly not. Andy, what do you think about the first half?
I think it's been a good first half. Two sides are like battling hard to get to Wembley, and like Forest took an early lead, and then we come back and got the equaliser.
What are they saying in the dressing room then at the moment? You've just been in there.
Just that
It's the referee, don't worry about that.
just that like we can overpower them in the second half and like hopefully get through.
Are there going to be any changes in the Forest lineup?
In the Forest line?
Sorry, in the Spurs lineup.
No, there's none at all. No.
Right, so there's no substitutes there. Paul Stewart playing very well.
Yeah, he's doing brilliant. He's getting up there and he's getting back. He's having a good game.
Okay, they're going to knock you about, so I think we'll hand back.
Okay, thank you.
Well, welcome back to the commentary position here. The news is that it's still raining very hard indeed. At least the Saint and I are in the dry, even though in this high position here you feel almost as though you're sitting on the moon, Saint, don't you?
Well, it is rather high up here. But you have to say that the crowd, Brian, getting a bit wet, and they really got soaked outside when they were hanging around. And I mean, they must be the most patient football fans in the world to stand for a couple of hours and get soaked and be in such good spirits. Terrific.
Everywhere there, Spurs just having the edge on Forest, as you can see, but the vital statistic is that it's 1-1 on the day, 2-2 overall on aggregate. Another 45 minutes to go. If it's still level that, after that we get 30 minutes of extra time. Away we go, the second half then. Spurs in white, attacking the goal, now to the left. Gebel. Tottenham's throw.
I've noticed some of the players have changed their kit, Ryan, and others have stayed with all the wet gear. I would have thought changing it would have been the right thing to do.
I would have thought so. Lineker's one who's changed. So too is Naeem. For 9. Brought down by Walker. A free kick to Tottenham. Extra think I'm right in saying that hard man Cloughie, none of the Forest players have been allowed to change theirs. Well, it's a free kick for Tottenham. Naeem with it, floating in. And a goal kick.
And Stewart again with a header. I think if Spurs persist with getting crosses into that box, I think they'll get goals from it.
We've said so often, haven't we, this season, that that move to midfield has really transformed this man's career totally.
Oh yes, I mean it's taken him into another level, isn't it?
Jury beaten in the air by a very powerful header, that time by Stuart Pearce. Back it goes to Ostvet. Romelo's final on April the 12th at Wembley. And of course the winners there qualifying for the UEFA Cup next season. So there really is a lot at stake. Lineker, for the moment, getting the better of Walker, but Wassell was there to knock it away. Clough getting it in now to Scott Kemmel. Back to Nigel Clough again. Well, very un-Clough-like ball, straight into touch for a throw to Spurs. Always a ground that generates a super atmosphere, and that's certainly the case here on this rainy afternoon. Glover somehow, in a very unorthodox way, got it back to his goalkeeper, Mark Crossley. Sheringham chasing, Sedgley getting it back. Under pressure from Sedgley, yes, getting it under pressure from Sheringham. Forest fans. Stewart. Got the strength for these conditions as well. Lineker. Picking out Fenwick well. It's a good measured cross coming in. Jury tried the volley. Naeem tries the tricks. Finds Van den Hal. Knocks it in again there. David Howes again. Once more Van den Hal. Good pressure here from Tottenham building up. Stewart on the far side gets the header away. It was Hamidou came in. Naeem putting it in once more. And knocked back by Roy Keane. Didn't really mean that as a header back to his goalkeeper. And that's where it landed. And Crossley was down to save.
It was a wonderful block in the first place, wasn't it, by Nigel Clough, who really threw himself in front of the ball.
Alex header. Allen's little touch. Howes might turn into trouble. Glover can take it up now for Forest. Howes was given a chance of a reprieve. Finds Paul Allen with it. Dury. Howes. Stewart. Van den Hal. Lineker. And Keane can take it up now for Forest. Gemmell. Wassell to Laws. Laws again. No foul by Naeem. Yes, there was. The referee said there was a foul. It's a free kick for Nottingham Forest. It was a nice passing movement again by Forest, wasn't it?
Well, that was lovely. Forest really haven't, apart from the first 20 minutes, really got a hold of the ball lately, so it's important for them now that when they've got it, they try and keep it for a bit, because the Tottenham boys have been dominating the game.
Laws and Crosby behind this free kick. It's Laws with it. Howes with a header. Not very convincing. That's a better one. Allen knocks it wide for Naeem to hit it forwards. Laws under pressure from Jury. My goodness, he slipped and turned at the same time. Gemmell nudging it forward to Glover. Clough. Gemmell. Glover. Out that time by Howes, or rather Sedgley. There's Howes. Walker versus Lineker. It'll come for Dury. And Walker, a super interception there.
That was a timely intervention there, Brian, you're right.
Fenwick. Pearce getting it away. Fenwick backpedaling, getting some support from Sedgley. Pearce and Clough. Glover offside. Free kick to Tottenham. Gemmell. I think that might be Darren Wassell. Down after a collision with Gary Lineker. Liam O'Kane is on quickly. The two substitutes for Forest today are both central defenders, Steve Chettle and Carl Tyler. The two Spurs subs, incidentally, that's the two Forest men. Two Spurs subs are Vinnie Samways and Justin Edinburgh. So here's the incident again. Well,
you get a lot of tackles like that under the conditions, Brian. You know, both players sliding in, and a lot of collisions.
Obviously, Joe Worrell thought it was quite serious because he stopped play instantly and had the physio on. But it looks as though Wassell might be happy to continue. With a score at 1-1, 2-2 on aggregate. And no respite for the crowd as the rain continues to sweep down. Sheringham, challenged by Allen. Howells, and for Fenwick. Pearce in so quickly again. Abbott backpedaling and Torsfett right to the edge of his box. Keane. Laws. Tackled there by Steve Sedgley. Lineker's very active just off him. Here's Gary Lineker. Space over on the far side for Fenwick, who's having a pretty sound game this afternoon. In for Allen. The throw given Forest way. Also with a chance, of course, to see Forest, Spurs live on Wednesday night on ITV in their Winners' Cup quarter-final. First leg in Rotterdam against Feyenoord, Feyenoord against Tottenham on Wednesday evening.
I don't suppose Spurs would relish extra time today, Brian, with that in mind.
Laws with a header. Fenwick in quickly. Tackle over there. It's a free kick at any rate to Tottenham, which Fenwick will take. Abbott's gone forward. Stewart and Lineker in there. Dewar is in there too. Just off the penalty area is Naeem. Let's see what sort of free kick Fenwick can deliver. Well, there were also plenty of red shirts back. Brandon Howe to keep the pressure at Forest. Naeem now. Real slippery customer. Brandon Howe. Three were on to Naeem there, but it falls for Howells. Crossed in again. Stewart will take it up. Being hustled by Wassell. And in the end, they'll get it back. It's Keane. Real good challenging run there. Crosby. And then Howe gets it away. Naeem. Now to the other end of the field. Jury on the run for Spurs. A little touch by him and it won't quite reach Paul Allen. Nigel Clough gets there first. Turned in for Sheringham. And now for Pearce. Turn by Gemmell. Picks out Laws. Crosby. Into Laws again. Well, it was a corner in the end, and I had the impression that Naeem could really have prevented that. So Spurs are facing a corner to be taken by Gary Crosby. Fenwick with a good, positive header getting it away. Scott Gemmell again, lifted in there towards Wassell. Torsfett in a lot of trouble. Held back just for a moment as Wassell went in and then plunged on the ball, but there was a foul and a free kick.
I think he gave the foul for Wassell going in there with his feet up, as you say, Brian. He's just onside as he went in. Well, really, maybe he could have avoided that. It always looked as if it was the goalkeeper's ball.
Sedgley comes for Naeem. slipped there just for a moment by Walker, but he quickly corrects himself, finds Clough, plays an instant ball for Glover. Glover can't control it. And then Howe forward to Dury. Tottenham throw. Coming towards the hour mark. Clough with a header. Essentially with a clearance, and a good powerful one it is, met by Des Walker. Clough getting it forward again, but nobody in the red shirts there. Good challenge by Clough. There been a little trip on Sheringham there. Free kick to Nottingham Forest. Couldn't be more evenly. Oh, what's Stewart doing going in the back of Gemmell there? The whistle had gone. Listen to the crowd getting really worked up now. Fantastic atmosphere now as this semi-final still poised. Dead even Steven. Clough. Abbott gets it away, but hits it too firmly for Dury. Gemmell again. A little touch for Wassell. Long-range shot maybe. Oh! Terrific shots and an excellent save by Torstvedt. Just for a moment, Cloughie may well have felt that was going to sneak in from Wassell.
Well, it was a super shot, Brian. It kidded everyone he was going to play it wide and just went through the middle. It was a cracking shot.
And he'd never scored for Forest until he got one on Wednesday night against Leicester City in the Zenith Data. Quarter of an hour gone of the second half. Forest with a corner. Again, not a very good one. Pearce. Glover brought down and free kick. This might be Stuart Pearce territory as well. Nigel Clough one, possibly. And right down by the post, Eric Torstvedt. Good free kick that.
Well, this little fellow never fails to surprise you. He's got such a great football brain. Obviously saw just a little bit of space there and went for it.
So Clough with the corner now for Nottingham Forest. Wassell at the near post. Jostling with Brandon Howe. Glover's in there too, trying to get the little flick on. Stuart Pearce now. Little touch for Gemmell. In goes Mabbott. A free kick for the foul on the Tottenham captain. It's getting really cut up through that middle area there. So difficult to move the ball. Two teams so beautifully poised, evenly balanced, and somehow the driving rain and this unpredictable pitch now just adds an extra layer of drama to it all. With, as we've said before, so much at stake. An appearance at Wembley in the Rumbelows final to face either Middlesbrough or Manchester United. The winners there get a place in Europe. Up gets Glover. Will he get there before Torstvedt? No. Pretty unorthodox bit of goalkeeping there. Sedgley can't get it away. He's looking for time. In the end, finds Howells. Comes to Lineker. Naeem. Kick from Torstvedt. Stewart. Crosby. Not his surface, really. He's making the most of it. Almost got the ball through to Sheringham, but Sheringham looked as though he may have been in an offside position, and he was.
Well, it may not be his surface in the middle there, Crosby, you were mentioning there, Brian. I think he's got to come more and more into the game. I mean, out on the flank here, it's lovely. And,
that's right.
You know, I think he's got to now start demanding the ball and having a go down the flanks, because he's gone very quiet in the last half hour of the game.
Lineker wins it in the air. Almost got it through to Paul Allen. Clough driving the ball away to Crosby. Fennick knocking it forward again. Chested down by Lineker. Here's Jury. Now Vanden Hauwe. Naive. Knocked in again towards Gary Lineker. And now for Jury. Can he get there first? Knocked off the line superbly by Stuart Pearce. In there again, and Lineker couldn't quite reach it. Well, Spurs so very, very close there to getting that second goal. Lineker knocking it down. It was an excellent header by Lineker for Jury. Jury getting there fractionally before Crossley. And then it needed Pearce to knock the cross off the line. And then Vanden Hauwe playing it in, and Lineker launching himself at it, but couldn't quite make the touch.
Oh, Gary won't get any closer to a header there. That was a wonderful play by Tottenham. Great stuff. And the link-up between Jury and Lineker was excellent.
In the meantime, Sheringham at the other end now for Nottingham Forest. Tried to get that into the path of Glover. Stewart shaking off Gebel. Difficult to run with the ball, but Stewart's doing a fantastic job, and then runs into Pearce. There was an obstruction there by the Forest captain. And Spurs are beginning to find the wind in their sails again. Good spell for them.
They're looking the stronger side now, Brian, aren't they? The powerful fellas like Jury and Stewart are enjoying this.
Fennick lining the free kick up. Naeem will take it. Floated right across that 6-yard area. They really fancy their chances, Spurs. Anything that's played high into that Forest penalty area. Should just say, any of you tuning in expecting to see bullseye now, the thing is that the game here, the Run Below semi-final between Spurs and Nottingham Forest, started just over an hour late because of a security alert inside the ground. The kick-off delayed just over an hour. So maybe you'll, instead of darts, you're going to enjoy a bit of real cup-tie football. The game evenly poised at 1-1 here today, 2-2 on aggregate.
It's certainly bully for us, Brian.
Vanden Hauwe. Too high for Lineker. Laws. Vanden Hauwe. Fennick almost caught out there by Nigel Clough. Pearce beaten in the air by a very determined jump from Paul Allen. Allen again, chesting it down. Nice little bit of skill there. Allen looking for a decent cross now for Tottenham. Goes past Crosby. Straight into the arms of Crossley. Coming up to the halfway mark in the second half now. Sedgley, Jury, Fennick, Lineker versus Walker. And Lineker's pass sends Nigel Clough forward again for Forest. Crosby just keeping it in play. That's the surface where he will really prosper down this right flank. There was no chance there for Roy Keane against Howells, and it's Stewart now taking it up for Tottenham. And Crosby got back in the nick of time for Nottingham Forest.
He really did well, Crosby, to get back, because Stewart had ploughed his way through again there. He's having an excellent game this afternoon.
Laws, the Clough, Sheringham. It's time up to Glover. Keane. Pearce on the far side. Gemmell tried to knuckle it through once again to Pearce. Clough. Clough was down by Stewart. Brandon Howe to Dury. And a foul that time by Laws on Dury. Free kick. Pretty difficult conditions, an appalling night now, but a super advertisement again for a lot of the good things in British football, Ian.
Oh, it's wonderful. I think the football has been first class under the conditions.
Brandon Howe with the free kick for Tottenham. Abbott heading it on. Dury heading it on. A little backward header this time, hoping that Naeem can finish it off. Goal kick. And Laws and Naeem getting a little agitated with each other. Laws feeling that Naeem dived there looking for a penalty, and Joe Worrell saying, just get on with the game and leave it to me. But two or three of the Forest players were quite incensed there that Naeem in fact was looking for something.
Well, I thought Naeem had a case, actually. You know, I thought Laws had slid in.
He looked.
But you see, that's the case of give a dog a bad name, and because Naeem has done that before in previous games, people now think he's doing it all the time.
Sheringham. Another corner for Forest. Gary Crosby with it. Just waiting to get men from the back forward, including Darren Wassell. Sheringham's in there. Lovers come near to him, and they've wasted the corner. Torsvett with the goal kick for Tottenham. Still 1-1 here, 2-2 on aggregates. Away goes Gemmell. Glover. Clough. Too high for Glover, but Sheringham's in there. And so too was Sedgley. Stewart gets it away. Comes off Allen. Forest throw. Glover again. Sheringham couldn't quite get to it either. Pearce has got to it this time for Forest. Knocked it forward again, but I suppose if Forest are looking for an omen, I remember a cup, Littlewood's Cup semi-final, this same competition, different sponsor, 2 or 3 years ago. Semi-final against Bristol City that Forest played in pouring rain down at Ashton Gate, and they won that one. Clough. Gemmell. Backhand for Glover. No, it's offside. If you're talking about superstition, Spurs in fact stayed last night in this same central London hotel that they stayed in when they beat Arsenal in the semi-final of the FA Cup last season, and this team Forest in the final, so a bit of superstition there as well. 1-1, 2-2 on aggregate. 27 minutes of the second half go. Sedgley. With a lot of sliding around the place. Joe Worrell really has got to use his discretion, and he's done it, I must say, extremely well so far. Saw the need, though, to give a free kick there to Tottenham.
Well, it's going to give a bounce ball, I think.
That was it. That'll be something trying to make that ball bounce in those. Yeah. He is an optimist. Allen. Fennick. Played in quickly. Allen almost getting through. Walker recovering in the nick of time. Used to be on the ground staff. Well, he used to train Tuesdays and Thursdays here as a 14-year-old. Oh! Thought for a moment that was going to bounce a bit higher. Glover. This is Laws into Crosby again. He got the message and is now using this right flank to much better purpose. Glover again, played in for Laws. Can he turn it back? Torsfett doing extremely well. Big Eric, in fact, who made his first appearance for Spurs against Forest here in 1988.
You get the feeling now that they're beginning just to edge their way back into the game, the Forest. You know, Tottenham may just have shot their bolt there. They put a lot of work in early on.
Fisted away by Torsfett, hammered away by Naeem, and only Lineker's up front. That one by Howes, Walker.
It could, of course, be that the Tottenham lads are having a little bit of a breather because they have really worked very, very hard since half-time, Brian. They've had the bulk of the game.
It's true. And
it looked as if Forest were going to be overwhelmed, but they've managed to hang on, and now it's just turning slightly their way.
The two subs, Vinnie Samways, Justin Edinburgh, Steve Chettle and Carl Tyler. Walker. Keane trying a little too much, dispossessed in the first place by Dury, and then commits a foul on Allen. The free kick to Tottenham. Fennick curling it in again. Up goes Walker once more. No bounce on the ball at all. Comes through the Clough here. Through the legs of Howes. This is a good run again by Clough. Picking up Laws. It's the same for saying a better spell by Forest now. Lee Glover. But Naeem coming back to dispossess him. Confrontation there between Laws and Torsfett. A free kick to Tottenham.
Actually, I didn't think that Crosby was helping in any way there. He really should have been doing a little bit more to try and help Glover, who was on the ball.
Clough. To the last quarter of an hour of the game now. Remember, there will be extra time if the scores are still tied at the end of 90 minutes. Glover. Back again to Torsfett. Chasing Walker, never allowing his eye to stray for a single second from the ball. Oof. Firm challenge there by Fennick on Clough. Oh, really hurt. Really ladled into the Forest number 9.
I would have thought surely that Joe Worrell might have done something there. I thought that was a bad tackle by him.
You know, Nigel Clough's faced one or two of those this afternoon, hasn't he?
He certainly has. He's come in for quite a bit of stick.
Not the happiest grounds at the moment for Nigel Clough on Boxing Day, when Forest won here, incidentally, with a last-minute goal by Stuart Pearce. Nigel Clough was sent off. Sheringham's header, but he was offside. On that occasion, I think Clough got involved pretty heavily with Paul Stewart. Stewart on the ball now. comes for Keane. Stopped by Naeem. Stewart chasing on, but just look at the pedigree again. And the pace of Des Walker. Little touch there by Sheringham. Keane. Now the surging run again of Stuart Pearce. Gemmell's gone outside for him. Clough's inside. Glover's waiting in the middle. Pearce again, dispossessed by Paul Allen. But Pearce wins it back again. Sedgley gets it back. Sheringham was also in. It was a sort of back pass, it seemed to me, that Sedgley made in the first leg that allowed Sheringham to get in and score an equaliser.
Always dangerous doing that, isn't it, Brian? I don't know why they do it, because the Forest boys are very alert and they're cutting the goalkeeper off, and that almost cost them.
Oh, that wasn't a very good kick either. Glover gets it through to Sheringham. There are a lot of Forest players up, including Crosby. In the end, Fenwick, well, he did the safest thing, bought a bit of time. Clough again, back to Laws. Problems here for Tottenham, maybe, but Dury then guides an excellent header back to Torsvedt. The last 10 minutes of the game now, and you sense we could have quite a climax here, Saint.
Well, I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed it up to now, and anything can happen.
Well, on this pitch, and with both sides very, very tired now and open to mistakes. Clough getting the ball forward, Sheringham for the moment back on his heels, then realised he was onside. Now what sort of cross? Driven in this time, Sedgley getting it away. That wasn't an easy one to clear in these conditions. Clough again. In goes Wassell. There's a foul though by Wassell on Stewart. The kick was taken very quickly. Walker versus Lineker. Walker again got in first. Quite generous there, actually, the referee, because he allowed the free kick to be taken not only quickly, but about 10 yards from where the offence occurred. Glover now taking it up for Forest, one into the other. Lee Glover now for Nottingham Forest, crossing the ball in towards Nigel Clough. Well, Vanden Hauwe got himself into a tangle. It could have been serious, but Torsvedt was there.
The chances are beginning to pop up more and more regularly now, Brian. I think the players, because of the tired, and Forest seem to be the team that have that little bit of a spark at the moment.
Seem to have that little bit of devil about them at the moment. Laws bringing it up to Sheringham. He's had a fairly quiet game. Glover again, trying to turn his man. Lee Glover again, a chance here, stopped by Torsvedt. Well, I suppose just for a moment there, the Forest fans could see Wembley doors opening up for them again. Turned his man well here. Gary Mabbott couldn't quite get enough of a backlift. He tried possibly a little chip there, but Torsvedt stood big enough to prevent him. The flag's up on the far side for an offside against Gordon Dury. About 8.5 minutes to go of normal time. If it still stays level, we have 30 minutes of extra time. Laws with the free kick for Nottingham Forest. Stewart getting it away. Keane playing it for Pearce. Gemmell. Stewart now for Tottenham. Dury. It's almost impossible to run that ball through the middle. Can't think why he tried. Always giving a defender a chance, and Keane got the better of him there. Crosby. Wrong-footed Naeem. Gemmell. Clough. Crosby. Stopped by the intervention of Mabbott. Nice little chip there by Howells, releasing Paul Stewart, who's got Dury and Lineker up. But Laws there for Forest. It's such a good contest, and it's so beautifully balanced. Glover.
The linesman flag had just gone up there, but today I think Forest have managed to play the offside trap very well. They've not often been caught, Brian, and you know, playing against Tottenham, players are always running offside because they play it so well. But I think today you have to compliment the Forest in the way they've managed to handle that.
Sheringham chasing head down and Cheeks puffing after that one. Sedgley gets it away but gives it to Crosby. Crosby couldn't quite put it into the path of Glover. Nigel Clough on the far side now, crossing it in. Crosby comes for Keane. Spurs get it away. Wassell beating Dury, gets it forward to Keane. He's the powerhouse now through that midfield. He almost got Wassell in. There might be a gap at the back now if Spurs can exploit it, but no. Good challenge that time by Gemmell. Dury, curious ball that played across his penalty area to Fenwick.
Yeah, but played with enough power to get there. That was a terrific ball going right out of jail there.
Look at the amount of ground that's being covered again by young Roy Keane. But Gemmell now for Nottingham Forest. Glover. I don't think Crosby will get to that one. A throw to Tottenham. As you were saying a moment ago, Forest are looking that much stronger now, Ian.
Yeah, they seem to just be piling it on here now, and they've had it in the last sort of 10 minutes. It's been all Forest.
Lineker. A foul on him. Looks as though Samways might be coming on. Naim is coming off.
I wouldn't think anyone would relish coming on at this stage, Brian, in the ground and the condition it's in. But because Samways is a footballer, isn't he? He's a tidy footballer.
Dury. Walker slipped just for a moment, but got his feet back quickly enough to stop Dury in his tracks. Sheringham unable to keep that one in play, though. So Vinnie Samways will come on. As you say, he's a footballer. He may not relish this surface. He's an excellent passer. And I suppose good footballers can overcome any surface.
Well, there's a lot of good footballers playing there today, and the quality of football has been excellent. So I don't think really you would say it would harm Samways in any way.
Sheringham, Howells, now Mabbott. 4 minutes of normal time left. I think the feeling is, Saint, you get a reprieve on naming man of the match until extra time.
Oh, I love that.
If there is going to be extra time.
I hadn't given that a thought.
Laws gets it forward. Sedgley with the header. Clough controlling that beautifully for Nottingham Forest. Mabbott with a header. Keane with one. And one by Fenwick. Samways, a beautiful turn by Dury. Lineker off in pursuit, but pushed rather wide with Pearce and Walker after him. That's quite a combination. Lineker, quite the cross he meant. Crosby couldn't quite hold it first time, but he held off Samways. Swift challenge though by Sedgley. Lineker. Allen. That's going to be a goal kick. On my watch, just about 2.5 minutes are left.
There are some games that, when it comes to 90 minutes and you look forward to extra time, or you're anticipating extra time, you think, well, I wish somebody would score. But in this one, I'm looking forward to extra time if that happens, Brian. It's been such a good game.
Yes, value for money. Howe. Laws. 2 minutes now left. Lineker. Stewart couldn't quite pick it up. Keane. Mamet, good challenge. Stewart. To Allen on the far side. Forest have certainly pulled plenty of red shirts back, but Allen's gone past one of them. That was Clough. But he's Dury battling with Wassell here. Stuart Pearce also getting in there. Goal kick. So Peter Shreves on the right of picture there. Doug Livermore alongside him. Sedgley gets it back. Back passes are a nightmare in these conditions, aren't they?
Well, I mean, you have to be so careful in the middle of that goal there. The ball's now sticking.
Lineker. Just couldn't get it through to Dury. Walker was barring the way yet again. And Forrest can spring forward once more with Gary Crosby. Sheringham. Clough. For once his control let him down. Paul Allen was in. Just as Samways allowed for a moment Scott Gemmell to come in. Samways being pursued into that corner by both Clough and Gemmell. Playing time added on at the end of 90 minutes in this Rumbelow semi-final second leg. Just a few seconds away now from extra time as Dury takes it up again. Russell was after him. Forrest get a throw. Glover. Crosby. Gemmell. And Howe. Good long throw. Hooked away by Howes. Helped on its way by Dury. Lineker couldn't quite get to it. We played a minute of time added on now. Van Howe again with the header for Tottenham. Samways. Fresh legs, but the ball nonetheless going into touch. In goes Wassell. Here's Keane. Wassell again. Just couldn't get that 1-2 going, and Van Howe knocks it away for Tottenham. Only as far as Stuart Pearce. Hit back in towards that Tottenham penalty area again. Van Howe gets it back. Joe Worrell looking at the watch again. Is there time for one last attack? Here's Fenwick. Ball played down that right touchline. Dury is after it, but Crossley. Good timing. And, well, he slid right to the very edge of the box, but not outside it.
That was good goalkeeping, wasn't it?
Took a little nick, I think, from Dury on the way. Was good keeping. Van Howe chasing. Coming towards 3 minutes of injury time now. Samways. Fenwick. Well, we go into extra time with the scores level on aggregate at 2-2 at the end of 90 minutes, with Lee Glover having put the Forest ahead after just 10 minutes. Lineker with the header, making it 1-1 after 15. 30 minutes of extra time to come. That again is the situation at White Hart Lane.
Welcome back. They're lining up very quickly. Where's your money now, Alex?
Well, Forest have come on strong in the last 20 minutes of the game. They look fresher. To me, it's Forest.
Lenny?
I think it'll be a stalemate. I think there'll be a third game.
You've been saying that since you got in here.
I haven't, I'm sticking to it.
OK, 2-2 it is on aggregate. Let's rejoin Brian Moore and Ian St John.
Thanks, Elton. One thing's for sure, it's tight and it's exciting. Wembley still awaits the winners of this tie here. 2-2 on aggregate. Alex going for Forest. Lenny thinking there might be a third game, Saint?
Well, I went for Forest before the game, Ryan, and the build-up to it, I thought Forest would win it, and I think they can still win it. But I mean, you have to say on today's showing that Tottenham would be thought to be very unlucky if they lost the game, because they've had a great part to play in it. It's been very even. I mean, look at that weather.
Well, it'll be Forest then to kick off the first period of extra time. 15 minutes each way. Just a shot there of Nigel Clough swinging his arms and urging his teammates now for a real big effort in extra time, and you can be sure Spurs have been saying exactly the same. Forest still have not brought any substitutes on. Just Vinny Samways, the only substitute on so far for Tottenham, in place of Naeem. 15 minutes each way then in extra time. And if there's the need of a third game, there'll be a toss of a coin. It'll either be then at the City Ground at Nottingham or here at White Hart Lane on March the 11th. And the point you were making a bit earlier, exactly what Spurs didn't want, an extra 30 minutes on this sort of surface when they face a big European game in Rotterdam on Wednesday night.
That's right, Ryan. And the pitch really now is getting very boggy. An hour ago it was lovely, the ball was flying around in it. Now it's sticking, and the players we find it very clawing on the old muscles.
Here's Nigel Clough. Keane. Here's Allen. Stewart. Not only your legs that get so tired at this stage, your mind gets tired as well, doesn't it? And your concentration can waver for a moment. Mistakes will creep in this 30 minutes, you can be sure of that. Well cut out that time. No lack of concentration there by Steve Sedgley, who I thought had a terrific game, I must say, in the first leg as well. Van Howe. Howells. And back to Torsved. Pierce with the header. On by Gemmell. Clough brought down by Stewart. Free kick. Glover. Shoulder charge, a good old-fashioned shoulder charge that got Howells out the way. Back to Lee Glover again. Through the legs of Van Howe to Crosby. In for Laws, across the face of the goal, and Gemmell was right in there.
What was offside, Brian? The flag had gone up, but this is how Forest started the game, didn't they? They started like this. You know, young Gemmell was involved in it then as well in the early stages of the match. And there he was, just in the offside position. They have to be careful, and I think they've done that very well, as I said earlier today, with Tottenham playing the offside.
Wassell. Sedgley. Laws with a header. Wassell getting it away. Crosby coming into those treacherous middle areas, but he's doing well here. Samways. Van Howe now for Tottenham. Walker. Laws. course. Dury. Not quite sure what Roy Keane was doing there. But he got it in the end to Pearce. Samways to Mabbott. Pennick with the throw. Stewart. Pennick. Samways. Pennick crossing in again towards Paul Stewart. On the half volley on the turn.
Tottenham haven't really had many opportunities in the last 20 minutes or so, Brian, but again, this one coming from across, looking for Stewart, who finding himself again in the penalty area. Got it down, but got right underneath it.
Well, Forrest will remember he was the man who scored the crucial goal at Wembley last summer. That really got the cup final turning Spurs' way. But here's Sheringham turning well on Mabbott. Finding Crosby. Keane, offside flag. Well, that didn't really look it to me.
That was debatable, wasn't it?
Glover adjudged to have been offside. Mind you, to be fair, the linesman's angle was a little better than ours, but certainly you had the feeling that Glover was in an onside. Well, no, he may well have just been off. Sheringham, it may have been.
Again, even in Sheringham.
Lineker. Pearce getting it away, but it came off Keane. It ricocheted to Brian Laws, the right back. The long ball. Spurs, we gather, are about to make a second substitution. Justin Edinburgh, the fullback. Stewart chasing, but again the ball gathering pace on this surface, and a goal kick. And it might be Gordon Dury, we think, who's going off. Certainly Gordon Dury had a little bit of a knock last week in the game against Arsenal, and I was watching them train on Friday morning, and he had to leave halfway through because, again, his groin, I think it was, that was playing up a little bit. And this surface, of course, won't help. And Spurs naturally will want to keep him as fit and as fresh as possible for Rotterdam on Wednesday night.
Yes, but I think this is an important game, Brian.
It is. Here's Keane. I suppose I really mean is they don't want to aggravate anything. Here's Clough. This is a good little break by Nigel Clough. Can he finish it off, though? No. He ran into Pennick. Now it's Wassell. Mabbott absolutely throwing himself at the ball, but Gemmell curling a lovely ball wide on the right side there to Keane. Not such a good ball made. Laws back pedal. Took the momentum away from the action just for a moment. Roy Keane again. Crosby. Bit of pace, gathering pace all the time, but three Spurs defenders there, eventually hooking it away. But again, Scott Gemmell with a nice little ball played in once again. And Sheringham! Once again, needed just a touch. Teddy Sheringham with 19 goals to his credit this season.
What a lovely ball was played in there by Keane. Teddy Sheringham launching himself at it there, and actually had he gone with his left foot, Brian, instead of his right, he may have had more success.
Keane to Crosby, stopped by Dury.
Talking about Dury, he's had an excellent game. He certainly hasn't looked as if he was carrying an injury, Brian. He's trotted up and down the field.
Foul by Sedgley as Glover tried to turn him.
Actually, I saw him giving the nod to the bench there that it was okay to carry on.
Free kick into Forest. Keane for them, curling across in. Nabbit there, just glancing off the top of his head. Beyond Sheringham, though. And Forest throw. Pierce. Clough. Remember, we're just 9 minutes now into the first period of extra time. 2-2 on aggregate, 1-1 here on this rainy evening in North London. Laws for Nottingham Forest. Keane. Gets it going to Laws again. Good passing here again by Forest. Crosby trying to find that extra little bit of magic. Keane finds that extra bit of power. Gets the cross in. Oh my goodness, that almost got through to Sheringham, and behind him Scott Gemmell.
They're having some success down the right-hand side of the field now, Forest. Keane there and Crosby. You feel that Crosby, who's not really had a great input into the game, could be the man to actually win it for them.
Crosby's throw. And a corner for Forest, which Crosby will take. Yes, you're right, Saint. You feel that Crosby could dance down as long as he stays out on that firmer or better surface out on the wing. And also the power of Keane, you think, might be quite crucial now. Sedgley with a header, another corner for Forest. Spurs have pulled everybody back except Lineker. Oh, terrific header there! Roy Keane.
Well, that Crosby-Keane link-up done it, Brian.
Crosby celebrates at the other end. On the Forest bench, they really begin to see that Wembley might be there again for them. Gary Crosby's corner, a powerhouse of a header there by Roy Keane. Beyond Torsvet, and Forest are 2-1 ahead.
Well, it was a wonderful header. Tottenham were caught their heels. He saw the gap, went for it and banged it. It was a beauty. I mean, that's good goal scoring, Brian, isn't it?
Fantastic. Well, 11th of the season. If you get a midfield player to get in double figures in a season, you've done really well. And Keane is such a prospect still. He's still only 20 years old, the lad from County Cork. But now can Spurs reply quickly? Crossley there a fraction before Kenny Samways. And the goal inside the Tottenham net really shook that rigging. Glover. Fennick with the throw. They certainly want Gordon Jury to carry on now, because they'll need all the firepower they can muster now, Tottenham. Here's Keane. Cut out easily, I say easily by Samways, but he was quickly pounced on there by Laws. Keane again, who's a master stroke again by Roy Keane, getting in there. Here he is again, on to Sheringham, on to Keane again. This time he's fractionally offside. So Peter Shreve sits back for a moment, does a little more nearest the camera, and Spurs realise they have a little bit of a problem now. Coming towards the end of the first period of extra time. Forest leading by 2-1 after that powerful header by Roy Keane. Keane again. Sheringham. Forest throw. 2 minutes left at the end of the first period of extra time. Laws, a little check. Clough, the It'll go out for the goal kick. Torsvet will want to get on with it quickly. Goal kick for Tottenham. Abbots. Oh, the guy got caught there on the edge of the box.
I tell you, it's worthwhile following up every back pass from now on, Brian, because that ball is sticking badly.
Allen. What sort of reply can Tottenham give now? Support from Fenwick. Played into Samways. Across the field to Vanden Hauwe. Crosby chasing him. Vanden Hauwe still. This comes in from Lineker. Scott Gemmell, the number 8, obliterated on the back of his shirt by mud and rain. Here's Glover. Crosby. Glover. Again Gemmell. It'll be a throw to Forest. Forest who really do seem to blossom when the cup tie time comes around. Unbeaten in 19 cup ties this season. And in this particular competition, they've lost only one of the last 31 cup ties they've played. Gemmell. Clough. Back for Keane again, that man. And for once, the little 1-2, I think it was with Gemmell that time, didn't quite come off for Keane, but he was charging through there again. It's a constant anxiety now for Tottenham, the power and the pace of Roy Keane through those midfield areas.
They play the 1-2s around the edge of the box ever so well for us. Play delightful football.
Dury. Oh, Stewart might get in here. Lineker's looking for something. Tries to curl it. Dury on this side of the box with his arms aloft saying a pass to me might have been more profitable. Just for a moment it looked as though Stewart might have a real golden opening.
It's on the stroke of half-time as well, Brian.
On the stroke of half-time at the first period of extra time. Stewart's now glanced off his head again. Fenwick was coming in powerfully behind him. Sheringham now for Nottingham Forest. Crosby's up ahead and Spurs look fully stretched, and it was as well for them that Vanden Hauwe got that interception in. That's the end of the first period of extra time, with Forest now leading by 2-1 thanks to that superb header by Roy Keane. Here we are again, Saints. Crosby's corner. He really launched himself at that one, right up in the corner.
Yes. Nearly got a smile out of Brian there.
Reaction out from Archie Gemmell. Turn round straight away. So 15 minutes to go. Sheringham. Crosby. Laws. Laws again. Glover again, getting it back from Sheringham. In goes Dury, gets it back. They'd want Dury forward really now, Tottenham. Getting to the point in this cup tie now where they've really got to start to take a few more chances. I think it's Howes who'll be coming off very shortly for Tottenham, which will bring Justin Edinburgh on. A free kick for Tottenham, which Fenwick will take. They can't get the substitution yet. Time really is of the essence for Tottenham at the moment. Forest leading by 2-1. Fenwick with the free kick, floated in there again. Crossley, that was the greatest punch of all time, but he got it away as far as Gary Crosby. Into Glover. Into Clough. And he tried to get Gemmell away on the far side, but Fenwick battles across to the other side there, allows the ball to go into touch. A throw to Tottenham. Samways. Stewart. Allen. Cross comes in. Went off Stuart Pearce for a Tottenham corner.
Well, Tottenham are not out of it, Brian, as long as they can get a few crosses in, corner kicks, you name it. If they can get that ball into the box in there, I think this game's not over.
I'm taking the words right out of my mouth, saying that the likes of Stewart getting in there powerfully, the big strong men, as indeed Keane proved for Nottingham Forest, might just tip it yet Spurs' way. Sheringham gets this away though, but not the most sensible of balls because he plays it straight to Van den Hauwe, and it could be returned with interest here. No Laws gets it clear now. Crosby down the flank. It's a good ball if Clough can get there first, but Torsfeld has seen it and just got there a fraction before Nigel Clough.
What a marvellous run by Clough and a great ball and well spotted by Crosby.
Spurs then making their substitution. It's Terry Fenwick who's going off and Justin Edinburgh coming on. It might well mean that Van den Hauwe switches to right back. I would think, yes, Justin Edinburgh is the left back. Van den Hauwe going across to that right hand side. Justin Edinburgh, 22 years old. We understand that Fenwick has picked up a little bit of a groin injury, which is bad news, with Feyenoord on Wednesday night in mind. Sheringham. Sedgley wants to get it back to Torsfeld. The throw out to Edinburgh, his first touch. Finds his skipper Gary Mabbott. Lifts it forward to Jury. Edinburgh, this is a good break. He's gone past Laws. He's hurled a good cross in that needed an intervention from Darren Wassell. And another corner for Tottenham. 4 minutes of the second period of extra time gone, 11 to go. Forest leading 2-1. Got it away again. Dury turning it wide. He tried to get it wide for Samways to put in another cross. It's Forest ball. I'm more than happy to let the tempo drop just a little. Here's Brian Laws with it. Gemmell knocking it forward to Clough. You shuddered just for a moment. Well, I thought that was in the path of Gary Lineker just for a moment there.
It was an unusual pass back, to say the least. I actually think he was trying to find Stuart Pearce with it and sort of misdirected it.
Sheringham underneath this one, but it beats both him and Mabbott. Both finish up in the mud. Amazing Wembley record that Brian Clough has. Looks as though his team might still be on the way, but there's Lineker! Wow! You can speak too soon, and that was again a vintage piece of Lineker. A dangerous moment out of nothing, a shot and a good one on the turn. As he fell.
That was superb, wasn't it? That was Lineker at his best. Actually, today I think he's played as well as I've seen him for a bit. He's looked much livelier, looked, you know, very sprightly.
Two under Forest then, 2-3 on aggregate in Forest's favour. And 9 minutes of extra time remaining. Well, Wassell's lost it here to Stewart. Tries to get it back again. It's a goal kick. Spurs thought it was a corner. Stewart for the moment had got the better of Darren Wassell, but Wassell was back so quickly. Yes, I remember many years ago, Malcolm Allison once saying, this is the period of fear for all defenders when you're hanging on in a fierce cup tie, the dread that you might just make that vital mistake.
Well, that's right.
So little time really then to make up for it.
But it's nice to have a cushion of a goal, isn't it?
Right. It's a throw to Forrest. Gemmell's up there alongside him. Sedgley got back well for Spurs. Lineker versus Walker. Walker winning it in the air. Allen. Dury. Pearce gets in there. Allen again. I think he's had an excellent game, Paul Allen.
Yes.
Pearce thought about the back pass, suddenly saw that Lineker, of all people, was between him and the goalkeeper.
And what a good clearance by Stuart Pearce. A lot of defenders in that situation, Brian, give the ball away inside their own half up the line, but he made sure it cleared the Tottenham last line of defence there.
Keane trying to get back. Will Lineker get in here? Paul Allen tried to make something of it. The referee, in fact, looked at the linesman. He wondered about the challenge, but Spurs get a corner out of it and nothing else. Forest for a moment there in defence were very nearly their own worst enemies. Here comes Sam Ways with a corner for Tottenham. A wider one this time. Stewart with a header. Pearce got it away, really hacked away. A last-ditch effort that was. Edinburgh playing it in there again. A good cross in there. Up goes Walker. Well, Howells wanted all the time in the world on that occasion on the edge of the box, just couldn't pull it out of the mud. It's with Clough. Knocked forward, an excellent ball there by Nigel Clough for Gemmell. He can't keep it in play. 6 minutes of extra time are left. Forest leading by 2-1 here today. 3-2 on aggregate. 6 minutes away from Wembley. Abbott gets it clear. Dury. Sedgley. Dury. Howells. Brandon Howe stretching. And hits it long towards Lineker. Wassels there though for Forest. It's a Tottenham throw. A little over 5 minutes left. Yes, Clough hooking it away. A sure clearance there by Nigel Clough. Edinburgh. Out of the ruck of bodies and out of the mud. Sheringham gets the ball for Laws. Glover. Samways. Dury. Bit of space over there for a couple of white shirts. Brandon Howe galloping forward. Paul Allen just ahead of him. Brandon Howe with a lot of strength left. But a good challenge that time by Des Walker, and away goes Walker again. Confronted this time by Howells. Can't keep it in play. Walker will need to get back and defend now. Pearce. Clearance by Torsfeld. Abbott. you'd like to give the Man of the Match award to quite a few characters out there today for the sheer effort and a lot of brilliance.
Well, it is a very difficult
really
one today, Brian. Yeah, very difficult, because, you know, all the players have given 100% today, and it's a wonderful effort. Great advert for the game.
Forest just with their noses in front still. 2-1 here. 3-2 on aggregate. Inside the last 3 minutes now. Sedgley, Gemmell, here's Lineker, Samways, Edinburgh, Walker gets it away to Gemmell, leaves it for Sheringham. Glover's made a good break, and it was a dummy break really, because Gemmell was through the middle, as indeed is Clough, but it gets caught up there. Clough is left in the mud again, as Glover tries to get there before Torsfet doing a grobbler. And Clough still injured.
Now, Nigel Clough got injured there, making sure he gave a good pass, Brian, and really, that's what this boy does so well.
And just look at the pitch there, just as we saw in close-up there, just the conditions now, these players.
Look at that, he got himself up, making sure he's, you know, keeping the ball for his team. Actually, it may be an appropriate time to give the man of the match with young Clough lying down there, because I think he's been outstanding again today. I think he's the key man in this team. He keeps everything ticking over. His passing is excellent. He works. I mean, his whole attitude to the game is something that other pros should look at. He's wonderful, and I think he deserves the man of the match today.
Quite agree. So Nigel Clough is the man of the match. Gemmell, Clough, shot was charged down, Keane going in there. He wasn't far from nicking the Man of the Match award, because he's covered a prodigious amount of ground and of course scored the goal that has put Forest in front. Gemmell getting the better of Allen there. Clough turning again, a little pass there, beautiful ball there, played for Gemmell once again by Nigel Clough. Gemmell inside the last minutes of extra time. And if Forest win, they equal Liverpool's record of 6 appearances in the League Cup final under its various guises. It's 7 times in the last 4 seasons, is it, that Brian Clough has taken a team to Wembley. He's already got one Wembley season with the Zenith Data competition. Now is on the verge, on the doorstep of Wembley now in the Rumbelows Cup. Keane, Pearce. We're now playing time added on at the end of this period of extra time. A free kick to Tottenham. If they're going to do anything, it needs to be done pretty quickly now. Glover with a header. Torsfet way out of his goal, plays it to Edinburgh. Can Spurs still find something? Walker there, but here's Samways. Lineker. Wrong-footed again, though, that time, Gary Lineker. Sheringham plays it for Crosby. Forest get a throw. Well into time added on. Referee looking at the watch again. Sedgley there for Tottenham, banging it forward in a last-ditch hope of producing something. Samways, Van den Hauwe galloping down that right flank. This really is the last throw for Tottenham, but the whistle has gone. It's Forest who go through to Wembley again. The winning goal by Roy Keane, won by Lee Glover before that. A goal by Gary Lineker, the sole reply for Tottenham. Brian Clough's men have done it again. The old maestro has taken the team through to Wembley once more. They've beaten Spurs in this Rumbelows Cup semi-final.
Forest are at Wembley again. A reaction from their manager, the one and only Brian Clough.
Brian, a tremendous game, but of course it means Wembley for the second time this week for you.
Absolutely delighted, Gary. It was a superb game. After all the trauma that had been going on all day, for two sides to produce that type of stuff was absolutely a credit to both clubs.
It was speed of thought in terrible conditions as well.
Well, they're not happy with their pitch. We didn't mind it too much, and somebody picked a good side. I'm not sure who it was.
What about it for you, though, Brian? The 6th League Cup final. You go there more times than England manager these days.
Well, it's nice to go back, honestly. We know the gatemen and the stewards, and we like the dressing rooms.
Well done. Very
much
pleased
obliged to you. Delighted for you.
Thank you.
From our patch.
Thank you.
The inimitable Brian Clough, but who's he going to play at Wembley? Will it be Middlesbrough or Manchester United? First of all, let's have a quick look at the winning goal. Alex, if you'd like just to take us through this one. Magnificent way to go to
Well, he's
Wembley.
had a free run, but what a header. The boy is exceptionally good in the air. Brave to go there too, but he was allowed a free run, and I'm sure Tottenham players will be a bit disappointed in that one.
I think you might start as underdogs on Wednesday, with no disrespect intended, Lenny.
Yeah, very much so. That suits us. I mean, we'll have to be at our very best to give the best, currently the best team in England a good game, but we'll give it our best shot over the 2 legs.
Listen, thanks to two of you for joining us. It has been an extraordinary afternoon all round. We're back with the European match on Wednesday. Can Spurs recover to play Feyenoord in the Cup Winners' Cup quarter-final first leg? We certainly hope so. From all of us here, bye-bye to you.